Hello, this is Stitchy Witchy Bee. I'm Bee. My pronouns are she, her. Today is August 7th, which is much later than I intended to do this. I'm so sorry about that. I was still finishing the last of my projects from July. I think I got it done on the 7th, and then this week just got away from me, so I do apologize about that. As well as the sound of the air conditioner that you can probably hear. It is way too hot for me to turn it off, though, so I do apologize. But thank you very much for stopping by. Welcome if you're new. This is a channel about and for cross-stitching. I'm going to be going over my works in progress or WIPs for the month of July, and then my plans for August, as well as a few things I've already finished for August. To remind return friends and let new ones know, I started out the year with 109 WIPs. I'm working on a minimum of 9 projects a month in an effort to try to make sure I'm working a little bit on everything. Of those 9, 3 of them are projects I am trying to finish. 2 of them are the numbers that are pulled for WIPGO by Jessie Marie Does Stuff. 1 is one of my extra large projects, which is anything over 50,000 stitches. I'm trying to put a minimum of 1,000 into that. And then the rest are just random pulls from the remaining projects that I have that I'm working on. And I am trying to do a minimum of 500 stitches on those. Alright, so let's get into July. My 3 finishes for the month were, this one's a little bit large, so I might have to do it in pieces. But the first one was this project, yeah, there's a tiny bit more at the bottom, called Christmas Ball 2 by xCrossStitchPatternsx. I did this on a 32 count Nessie by Picture This Plus. I loved this fabric. This was stunningly beautiful. I used a random selection of silks from previous Bestitch Me monthly floss subscriptions. And some of them are so random they're literally just known as like sample 1 and sample 2. So I genuinely, I'm not sure how easy some of them will be to get, but they were fairly close to what the called for were. I am very happy to get one of these done. As some of you know, I kind of went ham on a lot of these xCrossStitchPatternsx patterns, and I do like them. But Christmas isn't something that I necessarily stitch a lot, so I'm like, okay, I really need to get some of these knocked out. So this is the first one that I've really properly finished, and I am extremely happy with it. But it was still, ooh, something about it was rough, though. It didn't even have that many colors, but it was, I don't know if it was just all the little, I don't know what it was, but it was a little bit rough to do. But I am extremely happy with it done. And I will be getting more of that fabric. That Nessie, oh, stunning. Another finish that I have, this one does have a swear word, so I apologize if that's an issue for you. It is the Fuck Around and Find Out pattern. This is by Witch's Garden Crafts. I did this on 18 count Haunted by Picture This Plus. There is technically on the original pattern an outside border with a lot of black work. This, even though it's 18 count, it felt a lot more like a 20 count when I was stitching on it, and I just did not feel up to doing that black work border on it. I didn't think it was going to come across very clearly. Now that I've done the back stitch within the pattern, it might work out, but I just honestly, I wasn't feeling it. Didn't really feel a strong push or drive to do anything with it, so I didn't. Just maybe someday I'll feel compelled to come in and do that, but I don't know. As far as I'm concerned, this is done. This is as done as it's going to get. And then the third one, the one that I did have to come back and actually finish here at the start of August, is this cute little pattern, Welcome to the Crypt. This is by the Witchy Stitcher, and I did this on a 20 count Monster by Bestitch Me, which it's mostly coming across right, but let's see if we can't. That's a little bit more. This is coming across a little duller and darker here, and I'm not sure. It's almost like radioactive green for me in person. It's close to the linen I was originally doing it on. Actually, yes, yeah, here's the linen I was originally going to do it on. But I do like the stronger pigmentation of the darker colors of this, so I do think that was a good choice. And then, so that's it for the finishes for July. The WIPGO choices for the month were 17 and 9, which for me was something media based and then something with Quaker designs. I chose Hellboy by the Witchy Stitcher for the first. And I got more of his kind of jacket collar and the deep V on it here done. This is being stitched on 18 count The Witch's Road by Witch's Garden Crafts using just the called for. And then, sorry for the crinkling. I also got more progress. This one does not ever want to show up right on camera, so I do apologize about that. But I got more progress done on Quaker Spirit. This is a pattern by Tinsel Cross Stitch. I'm doing this on 20 count watermelon slushy, which is the one that just does not want to cooperate. In person, it is a much more vibrant, like just really ripe watermelon color, and it's just not doing it justice at all. It's a little bit more pink than this, but yeah, it's just not wanting to cooperate with me, which I knew happens a lot. The floss I'm using is Minerva by Oblong Meow. And then for my extra large project, and I talked about this a bit on my last video, I did restart Mischief and Repose on just a white 25 count. The artwork is by John William Godward. The pattern I got from Diana70 on Etsy. I didn't get too much more done on it, I think, since my last video, but I did get a bit over my 1,000 stitches. I can't remember how much further it goes. It's really not... I mean, this is a decent chunk of that. I think it might be only like 2.5 pages down, or tall. And this is where that first page cuts off. So it really isn't that tall of a project. It's much more of a wide project. And then for my other projects for the month, I made good progress on Great White Christmas by Boomerang Stitches. I just feel like I'm wrangling so much more fabric than I actually am with this. So I'd already done the Central Shark before. That was pre-existing stitching. And I'd done some of this initial wave border, but I came up to start doing a lot of the actual stitches around the text that go up here. And I'm so happy. I'm so happy with the way it's looking. It's exactly like how I envisioned it. I'm extremely thrilled with that. The sun is, there we go. Sun is messing with me. This is a 28 count Midnight by Garibaldi's Needlework. And again, extremely happy with the way the colors are looking on this one. And then I also got some pretty good progress on Halloween Garden. This is a pattern by Buena Pieza on 18 count Jack-o'-lantern by XJU Design, using just the called for. That's not quite coming across. It's close, but it's a little bit darker. Yeah, there we go. Just a little bit darker. And this does have kind of a rainbow effect, so the colors will be getting more bold and bright as it goes. And then lastly, I got more progress in on Ouija board by Raven Stitchcraft. I'd already done the central goat. I came in to get as much of this skull done as possible. There's still one more eyeball, but the skull in the corner is mostly done. This is on a misdyed fabric from Be Stitch Me, just called an Oops. An 18 count, I think I said that. And then I'm using Onyx by Weeks Dye Works for the floss color. But I'm extremely happy with how this is looking. Alright, and that was it for July. I just kind of resettled myself a little bit to get into August's projects. I'm going to start with the WhipGo choices. They were 19 and 23 for the month of August, which for me was any pattern by Witch's Garden Crafts, and then doing only 310 on a project. I'm actually running low on my Witch's Garden Crafts projects, so I decided I will go ahead and do some stitching in on next month's finish. Bear with me a moment. Sorry, muted to, or pause to cover up some intense crinkling. This is Never Give Away Your Power, again by Witch's Garden Crafts. I've barely done anything. This is one I want to finish for next month, so getting a little bit of a jump start on it will be good. And then when I originally put the 310 option on my WhipGo board, I had these, kind of grandiose ideas of only doing 310 for the entire month. But because this happened in the latter half of the year, I don't have that many projects that have a substantial amount of 310 in them, or at least not that it's easy for me to get access to, so I just went ahead and chose one for it. But it is a project that has mostly 310, so I knew it was going to work out well in that regard. And I've already done my stitches for this month. This is, because we're on the 7th, this is done. This is Baba Yaga by the Witchy Stitcher. I originally only had this cross and maybe like a row or two here, so I came in and did the remaining 500 stitches for the month on working my way up the house. And as usual, I'll give a lot of the information about fabrics chosen and all of that at the recap for the month. Then my extra large project for the month will be to work on the Pilgrim by Long Dog Sampler. One moment. Will be my starting point on this. This is maybe about, this is the midway point of the pattern, and this is the outside edge, just about. So I'm going to try to get some more done here and kind of, actually I think I'm going to work my way up. I'm not sure. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not too stressed about it, but getting 1,000 stitches in on this will make a really good amount of progress. And then my 3 finishes for the month, I actually already have one done. Very shocking, but that's kind of what I've been able to really focus in on these first few days of the month. And this one I knew was going to be easy, even with work being a little bit of a distraction. This is Boo by the Wishing Thorn. I think I did this with the called for, or it was very similar, just pulled from Stash. But it's a cute little, I think this was a freebie. Cute little pattern. Really enjoyed working on it. This pumpkin was no joke in terms of the number of stitches, but everything else was very straightforward. I will also be working on the Mayor from the Witchy Stitcher. I will be restarting, not that I have much done, but I will be restarting this because it is on a linen. I do have this exact same fabric as an Ada, so I will just be probably redoing it on that. And again, I think I'm less than 100 stitches in so far, so it won't be a huge burden to restart it. But that's the mayor from the Nightmare Before Christmas. And then this one is a big one. This one is going to be a lot of stitches to finish. But every time I work on it, dropping floss. Every time I work on it, I tend to get a lot of progress done. So I'm really hoping, all fingers crossed, that that continues. Sorry, I'm struggling a little bit. This is, get it to cooperate. Study of Skulls. This is actually close to accurate for the fabric. It's a little bit darker. Study of Skulls by the Stitch Crypt. It was a stitch along. I finally got my way to the bottom shelf down here. So there was a whole bunch toward the bottom that I just hadn't even touched on yet. Like I said, there's a lot of stitches left to do on this, but every time I pick it up, I do around, I mean, it feels like 800 stitches, roughly, just anytime I pick it up. So I'm feeling fairly confident that I will be able to get that done this month. Sorry, that was an abrupt cut. I had to pause it for something and then took away the project before remembering. And then for the other ones that I'm going to work on for the month, because I'm kind of inadvertently double dipping on one for next month, I did add an extra one in. We'll see how that works. Last month I didn't get a ton of stitching in, so we'll see, but I think it'll be okay. So what I am going to work on, it's a little bit out of order, so let's see if I throw myself off horribly by doing it. This is Scandinavian Forest by xCrossStitchPatternsx. Again, I'm trying to get some more progress in on those. And then crinkle, 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 sorry. The Crypto Naturalist Sampler. This is by Screaming Heart Designs. Almost get all of it in here. There we go. I love how this is turning out. I'm so extremely happy with it. But get some more good progress in on that. Try to work my way down the sides some more. The extra one I added in kind of last minute is this. Well, that's what I'm going to have to do in sections. I'm very sorry. This is Quaker Autumn Sampler by Tinsel Cross Stitch. I'm trying to get as much of the border and outside pieces done as I can, so I can work my way in, or finish the actual motifs and work my way in better. But I've got most of the border. It's fighting with me. Got most of the border done. There's no easy way to show this one. It is. I'm so sorry. This is awful. I will be focusing, I think, on this month just on a section, so I can actually show a section better than whatever exactly is happening right now. But for my 500 stitches, because I'm manifesting cooler temperatures in autumn for all the good it's doing me. And then, heavily related, I will be working on Autumn is as Joyful by Lila's Studio, which I've been kind of doing a similar thing of trying to get as much of the border done, so again, my apologies. But here's kind of our starting point. Got all the way down to the bottom corner here, and then have been working my way over and down here. This one isn't quite as wide, but I think it might be a little taller. I'm not sure, but I'm just trying to get more progress in on this, and I love this pattern so much. I love the color of the fabric that I chose, love the color of the flosses. This one's always been a treat to work on, so I'm very excited for that this month. But that is August. I didn't stitch nearly as much in July as I'd hoped I would. I think hopefully it'll be my second lowest month of the year and there won't be another one that's a little bit lower, but I'm hopeful this month will be better the more I settle into my new job. I just kind of finally started doing the actual job in part last week, and then on Monday I'm officially just, no more training wheels, or I still have guidance and help, but no more training wheels. So we'll see, but I think it'll be okay. But that is it for this video. Thank you very much if you stuck around for all of this. I appreciate you. I will see you in 3 weeks. Hopefully I'll be close to around, I have a long weekend around Labor Day, so worst case scenario I'll be able to get something out then, but I'm hoping closer to the 1st regardless. So I appreciate you. I will see you then, and in the meantime, try to remember to get enough water, stay safe, take your meds if you need to, and focus on what makes you happy. I'll see you guys next time.